Hi gang, it's Hexy. Shooting this video for the second time. World at War 85. Storming the Gap. Scenario 1. Called Storming the Gap. And I've completed this. This was funny because I shot my first video, I think, after 2 turns. And then I was sitting down here playing the other night, and I played all the way to 2 turns left. And it's a 10-turn scenario, so I was really just rolling to it. Not difficult. It's not a ton of calculation you have to do. Well, at least not so far in this scenario, and not a ton of the rules that you got to focus on. But before I even talk about any of that, there's a couple things I want to talk about with this, so you can understand some of the mechanics of the game. On turn 9, you have 10 Soviet T-80 units in their headquarters on the map. Then you got some 11th ACR stuff, a couple of M1 Abram units, an infantry unit with an M113 and a ground-mounted tow. You had a Jeep tow unit, and then you had an M901 ITB unit. Okay, and the Soviets had the option of coming in from over here, the east or the north, and I kind of came in from the north and northeast. So probably should have just bum rushed from over here, from this way, with the 10 T-80s, because once a unit opportunity fires, he goes ops complete. So if you got maybe 2 units or maybe 3 that could have seen these guys coming in, you could have moved all 10 units on. 3 of them would have got shot at, probably, and these guys would have gone ops complete. And your units that are moving, if they move half or less of their movement allowance, they can fire with 1 less fire dice. If they move their full movement allowance, they can fire with 2 less fire dice, which would, for these T-80s, it would be just 1 fire dice to hit a 4, to hit number 4. So, and then you're going to throw in your modifiers for terrain and elevation and stuff like that. Whether or not there's a headquarters which provides you a bonus. So, but anyhow, we got to turn 9, and by fire they took out an infantry unit here, which was carrying a ground-mounted tow. And the only thing left was an M113, so they moved in and they assaulted the M113. That was just too easy. The T-80s just dusted that thing as easy as possible. And they took out one of the M1 Abrams units that was sitting up on this high ground over here. And this guy here, he got his marker came off at the end of the turn. Well, he didn't have a marker on him, actually. But so I thought, okay, good, cool. So on the last turn, the Soviets they've already sitting here. They'll move one, they can take this hex. And one of these 2 units probably might get lucky enough to get in here and take it. They need to take both objectives. You'll notice they're both blue because the Soviets didn't take either one of them. Why didn't they take either one of them? Because the first 2 cards drawn on the last turn were both end operations. Now, unless there's some special rule that I need to go read, that ended the turn and ended the game because it's only 10 turns. All right, now, I got a chance to watch Keith and Jeff play some World War 85 the other night. And Devin was sort of hosting and overseeing things and doing card draws and stuff. And I asked a couple questions, and they explained something to me. One of the things I couldn't understand was this headquarters thing going on an end operations card. So let me explain how that works. If you draw, let's say that you go through a turn, and that's your first card's end operations. Your second card is Soviet 115th GTR, and then you draw the other end operations card, and the 11th ACR never gets to be played. What you do is you take one of the end operations cards out, because the turn's over. You take the headquarters, you place it on the card, all right? You shuffle these things back in. This way you're guaranteed, because you have to have 2 end operations cards come out before the turn's over. So this way you're guaranteed that 11th ACR gets played. So on the next turn, when this card comes up to play, you take the headquarters, you're going to deploy him back on the map. You'll take the end operations card, you'll stick it back in the deck, and you'll shuffle it up. Now you got your 2 end operations cards in there. So now, let's say the first card drawn on the next turn was 11th ACR. Now the 115th Soviet is in there. Let's say the 2 end operations cards come up before he gets to play. So you do the same thing. You take one of the cards out, you put the headquarters unit on it, and then, say you're starting the next turn, then you'll shuffle these together, and you're guaranteed that card, since there's only one end operations card, that this will get to be used, okay? And then you'll do the same thing. Once this one's drawn, you take the headquarters, you deploy them, you put the end operations card in the deck, and now you have your 2 end operations cards back in the deck, okay? Yeah, no, I was all over the place with that one, wasn't I? But they explained that to me. It was crystal clear once they explained to me how it worked, so now I've got that process down. Command. You would think I would have command down on any game I play that has command in it. So here you go. Priority number 1. There's your headquarters. He, in this game here, has a range of 4 when he's fully on his full side. He has a range of 3, command range of 3 when he's on his reduced side. Keep your units that apply to him and attachments within command range. Don't scatter them all over the battlefield, okay? Now, just because they're not in command range doesn't mean they may not get a chance to act or respond. Because if you roll for these units that are out of command range and they roll less than or equal to the training morale level, then they're considered in command. So let's just say they had successful radio communication with their headquarters, all right? And they can function normally, all right? If not, they can still opportunity fire. They're just not going to be able to move and go do any, they're just not going to be able to do anything offensive. They're just going to be sitting still and stationary. Disrupted units, okay? They can't direct fire. They can't move into the line of sight. If they can only move away or move around where they're not in the line of sight. They're not going to engage anything they can't opportunity fire, all right? If your unit fires either reaction fire or direct fire, he's going to go ops complete. Or he moves, he's going to go ops complete. Once he goes ops complete, until their next activation or whatever, or the turn ends, he can't do anything else. He can't op fire, he can't fire, he can't move, he can't assault, he can't do anything, okay? So that's where you probably got to do some thinking when you're playing one of these scenarios, i.e. like this one here, where the Soviets, the Warsaw Pact, has 10 units, all tanks, on the map, and 11th ACR has like 6. There may be a case where you think, well, do I need to opportunity fire this guy here, or do I need to wait and save that for my phase, or, blah, 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 vice versa. So you really got to think about that. All right, so scenario 1, simple scenario. NATO victory due to the luck of the card draw. And I'm going to play, there's scenarios 2 and scenario 7 are also learning scenarios. I'm going to give those 2 a try. But, so I guess this one here gives me the basic functionality, the basic mechanics of the game. Move, direct fire, opportunity fire, what disruption, what out of command does to a unit, how steps are lost. And when you take hits on units, when you take a hit in assault, you don't use disruption. It's step losses, okay? So when this guy here ran over this M113, he got 2 hits on him, let's say. You don't do the first one as a disruption. It's a step loss, okay? So, but in this game here, when the first hit is going to be a disruption if there's no disruption on it. If it's a second hit, and you'll flip him to his reduced side. And if it's a third hit and he's a 2-step unit, you'll eliminate him. Soviets lost 3 of their T-80 units, and 11th ACR lost 1 of their M1 Abrams on just fluke die rolls, magic die rolls, and no saves. I mean, matter of fact, I think they had, the headquarters unit was originally with him. I think he rolled 6 dice for saves, and he didn't hit any saves. So that kind of stunk. Jeep, tow unit, infantry with a ground-mounted tow unit, and an M113 taken out. So the only thing left was the ITV and that tank right there, which these units over here on the next phase when they were activated, as they started to move, those 2 probably would have shot at them to keep them from getting here. And had they been able to do that, I don't think anybody else could reach. Soviets probably would have taken this objective, but they would have possibly never gotten to that one. Doesn't matter. Drew 2 end of operations card. Nobody got to move. All right, so there you have it. That's my first scenario, my first play of World War 85. Scenario 1, Storming the Gap, which, by the way, I didn't notice this, but until just a few minutes ago. In the modules book, they have a map, if I can find it here, where it shows you the scenarios that apply to the campaign. See, this is all new to me. So all these scenarios here, all right? And then you got scenarios here that all apply to a particular type of campaign, and this here where you play a campaign. I need to read some more because I want to find out how do you track that? Is there can you get some scoring system out of it? But hey, Lock and Load Publishing, World War 85. Hexy's first scenarios in the book. NATO victory, 11th ACR specifically. And we're holding the front. Let's get this posted, and I'm moving on to the next one. Talk to you soon.